Now we are going to take a look at a feature that was added in Solidworks 2014. This feature is sheet metal gusset. Sheet metal gusset allows you to add a gusset or rib across a sheet metal bend. So let's assume we want to add a gusset between these two sheet metal faces. We would simply go to the sheet metal gusset button. The property manager opens. The very first window is prompting us for a bend face or two planar faces that are adjacent to a bend. Now, what is the bend face? Well, if we want the gusset to be between these two faces here, the bend face would be this area or this face that I have my mouse above. You can select bend face, or you can select two planar faces that are adjacent to the bend. I'm going to select the two planar faces. 1, 2. And now we see the preview of a sheet metal gusset. Solidworks automatically calculates a linear entity in which to position or align the gusset. And you can see that on the screen by this purple line. Solidworks also selects a point in which to dimension and locate the gusset from. And again, Solidworks selected this point. You can choose other points such as sketch points or endpoints or midpoints just by simply clearing this box here and selecting a different point. So if I select the midpoint of this line here, notice there's the midpoint, there's the gusset. It appears it's not positioned on that midpoint. That's because offset is checked and it's set to a distance of 10. If I uncheck offset, now you see the gusset is positioned at the midpoint. I am going to place a check back in offset, clear the selection for the dimension point, and reselect the endpoint of this line. And now the gusset is back to the original location. Moving down the property manager, we have profile. If you want a symmetrical shaped gusset, you want to leave the indent depth as your choice. This is a symmetrical gusset. Dimension D, if we look at the graphic here, we can change that. Currently it's at 5 millimeters. If I change it to 4, watch the preview update, and the gusset is now a bit smaller. If you want an asymmetrical gusset, you do have that capability by checking the Profile Dimensions radio button. And this gives you control over the various dimensions that you see in this graphic here, making the gusset asymmetrical. I'm going to put it back to indent depth. I'll set the depth to 5. Moving down the property manager, we can select between a rounded gusset, which we currently see on the screen, or a flat gusset. And notice when I select flat gusset, I will get a new option in the property manager. So I'm going to select flat gusset, and notice I can control the edge fillet. That will be a fillet on the very edge of this gusset. Let me go ahead and close out of the sheet metal gusset feature, and you will see that fillet of 1 millimeter. Let's go back and edit the gusset. We will return it to a rounded gusset. And the last part of the property manager is dimensions pertaining to the gusset size itself. We have an indent width and an indent thickness. And by changing these values, you can see the preview update on the screen. We also have the capability to apply draft, inner corner fillets, and outer corner fillets. Let's try inner corner fillet. I'm going to change this to 0.5 millimeter and outer corner fillet, 0.5. Go ahead and close out of the sheet metal gusset feature. And there we have a 0.5 fillet on the outside and on the inside. Go back into the feature. And the very last item is the preview, partial preview or full preview for gusset. We'll go ahead and close out, place it back to an isometric view, and there we have a sheet metal gusset. Now, just like any other features in your feature manager tree, you can always go back and edit the gusset like we've done many times already and make changes to these settings. Let's bump this offset to 20. Close out. And this concludes our lesson on gussets.